the men should learn their wives' triggers. I don't care if you got one wife, up to 4 wives. I think that's important. It really is beneficial for the marriage to stay together versus it being torn apart. So he had no idea all this was going on in my abandonment and all these things were going on in my head. I could tell he didn't have any idea because, you're thinking you're going to get divorced because here's a new wife, a new life, a new secret, all of this stuff he had going on. And I'm like, I can't keep up with that.
Warning, what you're about to hear may challenge your beliefs, confront your excuses, and expose where your frame may be weak. Good, because comfort doesn't build leaders. Truth doesn't follow trends, and legacy was never meant for the crowd. Our content is made for men and women who value truth over trends, structure and substance over style, and legacy over likes. If that speaks to you, welcome to Outstanding Personal Relationships. I'm Coach Nazir. Let's get it. My wives are about to tell you something that most men never get to hear. It's not because wives don't want to speak about it or even talk about it, but it's because they generally haven't set up an atmosphere where it's safe to do so. So let's get to it. I'm Coach Nazir.
And I'm Coach Fatimah, his wife.
And I'm Coach Nyla. I'm also his wife.
We are the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as the authors of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy
Uncensored.
With that being said, all right, so what I want you guys to do, I want you to pay close attention to this video because this is a little different. We have the ability to look back, all right? And many times, the farther you can see forward, the farther you can also see back. And we did this video specifically for those who want to know more about polygyny or considering it, you're not sure, or maybe you making some mistakes, some of the same mistakes that I made early on. But right now, I want my wives to go ahead and share with you their perspectives now, since we've been practicing this now for over 16 years.
Okay, my perspective is this is new to the three of us in this way, but one of the things that I had to understand, and this was really tough for me, I didn't realize how much of my identity was wrapped into Coach Nazir's identity. So it was like if somebody saw me, they saw him and everything he did and everything he didn't do. So I lost my identity in the marriage as we got married so young. I didn't know how to be a wife. I didn't know how to be a mother. It was all new to me. So it was a lot of new. And being married was something that my parents didn't do and something that my grandparents failed at. So that was the last thing I wanted to test the waters on, is failure and divorce and being like them. But I really didn't understand that one of my biggest challenges was just understanding that I had my own identity and I needed to take care of that. And I was not good at it. The clothes and the easy stuff, but really not making that separation between this is my husband, this is me. Okay, what I thought I was agreeing to when I first got married was, okay, it's the husband and the wife. That's it. And that meant whatever visions that we had as a couple. And I didn't realize that growth was going to have to happen, because when you're that young, you don't think about growth. You just think about, this is the husband, this is a wife, and this is the dream that I have. So I didn't realize that things may change. So I thought I was agreeing to just me and him, and that was it. Now, later on, I found out what it actually was, is that people don't stay the same. So expecting them to stay the same and holding him to who he was when he first got married, and then 15 years down the line, even if it's a year or two down the line, I didn't realize the evolution that he would take. And I didn't even recognize the one I was in, but I didn't realize things would change. So what I accepted was husband and wife, and then it just transitioned into a larger family, a larger vision, and I didn't see it coming in that way.
Okay, since we talk about polygyny, then what did you think you were agreeing to when it came to polygyny? What did you find out you actually agreed to, and knowing who you are in this transition from monogamy to polygamy?
I looked at it more logistically at first. I mean, after the dust settled, I looked at it more logically, I should say, at first. And I said, is this other wife supposed to be here, or is she not supposed to be here? And when I asked myself the question and answered it honestly and said, just as I'm supposed to be here, so is another wife or wives, if that's something that you wanted to do, versus saying the latter of, no, this person doesn't belong here, and just accepting that things were going to change. And that's actually what it was. Things had changed, and I thought they wouldn't. And they absolutely did. So embracing change is what really helped me, and not running from it, because I wasn't going to get stretched running. I just was going to get torn down, and it was going to be a lot of these self-inflicted wounds, I like to call them. So nobody else is doing it to you. You're more so doing it to yourself. But signing up for polygyny, or you signing up for polygyny, made me see that in actuality, this is not easy. It's not something easy to do. And because someone else made the choice, or Coach Nazir made the choice, I said, well, he must know what he's doing then, because he did it. So with that, I want to just say, when I say he should know and he did it, that means I felt confident. Even though I was upset, that he was doing his homework, or he did his research, or he talked to brothers that were in it. Little did I know, there wasn't anybody to talk to. Nobody was being supportive. And there really weren't men, from what he has said, that were doing it in such a way that their family was actually thriving in it. Even though they're in pain and they're hurting, I didn't realize how much work and how much dedication it took, and discipline, and there's much that goes into it that doesn't have to do with just, well, I'm hurt, I'm jealous, I'm this, I'm that. It's much bigger than I ever thought it was going to be. The commitment to it was much deeper than I thought it ever was. So I never saw that part coming. So it's not something that we can just kind of, polygyny, and then just push it to the side and act like it's not there. No, it's there. It's absolutely there. And it matters. So embracing it versus running from it was super important for me personally.
Okay, good stuff.
I was the naive one. So I was told, and like Coach Nazir said at the beginning of this video, that when you so far forward, and you can look so far back, and like they say, hindsight is 20/20. Yeah, being able to see that I oversimplified polygyny. I came in as a divorcee, so it wasn't that the marriage was brand new to me, but polygyny definitely was brand new. And my mentality was that, okay, we're Muslim. Polygyny is not only allowed, but is regulated. So, all families going to have ups and downs, challenges and things as far as that. That's a given, duh. But I never thought that I would be in a place where the transition was more difficult than I expected. Like, as far as feeling lonely, the times where he's gone and waiting for him to come back, or when there's some challenges. You guys aren't familiar with the story. Got it consistently on the channel. It wasn't the closeness that you see in front of you today. Coach Fatimah and I, we weren't speaking to each other. We didn't have that communication or anything like that for a minute into our polygyny journey. So I had a continuous fear, and this feeling of feeling like an outsider, this fear of, if she doesn't like me long enough, that Coach Nyla would be like, you know what, it's easier to divorce you because we don't have a history like they have, So it's a lot of the different things, the comparisons, my gosh, where it's like, I've heard, well, you would never catch up. you know? And I'm like, okay, it wasn't a race, but to feel that in your heart where a person say, well, you're never going to be like this, or you're never going to do this. And it takes away your confidence. It takes away your self-esteem, you know, when you know that the reason why you came into it to begin with is to be part of a family, to grow with a family, and be connected with a family. So I oversimplified it. And yes, I was just mad naive at the beginning. So it wasn't the easiest thing at the beginning, but when we really started to, and then we'll get into that, of course, a little later, but when the communication happened, and when I became a little bit more confident in learning how to communicate properly, I'm still working on it, still learning it, but being able to get out of the fear of ruffling feathers, saying the wrong thing, you know, being pushed to the side, even though that was never told to me. Just having those ideas and that mentality, it's a scary thing to come into and to deal with. And in order to get through it and work through it, you know, you have to get into your personal development. You have to read the books, take the lessons, go through being with people who actually been there, done that, or who are really looking to see you and your family win. And because I was so afraid of not wanting people to look negatively on our family, on our situation, on Islam, or anything as far as that, I kept my fears, I kept my challenges, I kept a lot of that stuff to myself, and it was tearing me up inside. So yeah, the beginnings, you know, if you guys are struggling with that, don't understand that you're not alone. We went through it too. And hey, look at us now. And we'll get into how you can actually go and grow through those challenges, because the challenges are going to come.
All right, so the question goes now to, what did you wish that I knew first?
What I wish he knew is that although women can be upset, and I mean really distraught by this decision, if their husband is a good man, then divorcing him is not something that pops right into your head. They didn't realize that their husband was going to be in polygyny, or he was in it, and they just said, well, I'll divorce him. And my first question is always, is he a good man? They go, well, yeah, he's a good man. And I'm like, well, then why would you want to divorce him? Is it because you're upset? Is it because you're hurt? Is it because you feel jealous? Is it because you're trying to make his decision an evil decision, hence making him an evil man? Like, what is it? Well, no, he's not evil. No, he's not that. And I had to ask myself that question. What are the pros and cons? So for me, I wish he would have known that him not telling me made me feel like I wasn't his family, and that he abandoned that part of our family. Because if I think about how the family is now, that might not happen, because of course you learn from your mistakes. I pray that we all do. But the second big thing is that because he made the decision not to tell me beforehand, and talk to our children beforehand, and talk as a family beforehand, what happened with me was that I didn't realize that he didn't know that for me it looked like abandonment, from the same as my mother, my father, my grandparents, whoever the case may be, because the pattern in my life from very young was the people that love me leave. Now here he goes. This is his chance to leave. Because it looked like, you know, with you not saying you were married beforehand, then that looked like an out. Because if you didn't say it to me, then you knew I would react this way and go, well, then you didn't tell me, so I'm out of here. So it looked like an out, and it brought up abandonment issues from childhood. Family brokenness, trust issues, a lot of things, but he didn't know that. So I liked in one of the videos you did, you said that the men should learn their wives' triggers. I don't care if you got one wife, up to 4 wives. I think that's important, because when you learn your wife's triggers, it really is beneficial for the marriage to stay together versus it being torn apart. So he had no idea all this was going on in my abandonment and all these things were going on in my head. I could tell he didn't have any idea because, you're thinking you're going to get divorced because here's a new wife, a new life, a new secret, all of this stuff he had going on. And I'm like, I can't keep up with that, so why even try to? But it wasn't about keeping up. It was just, I wish he had known that these childhood triggers would, the way I kind of would look at it. And he just, why would he think that way? But that's what really was tougher than most things. It was that, yeah, the people that love me leave, that part.
Similar to what Coach Fatimah said about the triggers, however, more so of that both wives were struggling, even if it was on different levels or with different things, and how to deal with both dynamics. Because of course it was different, and it's going to always be different, still going to be different. But that I wish I would have felt that I was able to talk to you about that, about how I was feeling and the fear and I don't want to call it isolation or anything like that, but the fear of not feeling part of a family, even going back into or being part of the family, not a family, but being part of this family, with that type of dynamic, because it's a struggle for us all. However, knowing that and knowing what that felt like, for me, especially it not being discussed or told or until after the fact and different things like that, and just how things continued on, I guess. Just that the struggle. We can't control what will happen or what has happened, but we can control how we operate within that realm, whether we're learning from it and things like that. So thinking about what I wish those things were there. I wish you knew that. I wish you knew how I was hurting, how I was struggling, how I really did want, a deeper connection all around the board, and that, how to be able to deal with that dynamic and let it be known that it wasn't something that is to cause issues or cause drama or drama or trouble or chaos. It's just, this is a connection of building and growing and connecting the families and different things like that. So, but like I said, how would you know that if you don't have that to even, we had nothing to look to on that, and how to do it and how to speak on it and how to have the conversations or anything like that. So
yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is. We had to be the change we envisioned, if you will. So now we had a frame spectrum code, but now what's the one thing? Go back to your earlier self, looking back.
For me, I think what I would do many things differently. I mean, a lot of things differently. I would tell myself to look inward more. I'm Muslim, so I definitely, I prayed a lot, but taking things to Allah as a Muslim, and if I needed to be defended in any way, let Him do it for me, versus taking on the stress of things that were supposed to be said to Coach Nazir, but when people didn't have the courage to do that, they came to me with it. So they came to me with all the questions, with all the assumptions, with all the judgment, with all the how many kids he got with her and all of this stuff. I said, did you ask him? So I started getting people off of me in that way, instead of trying to, figure out things he should have been handling. And if he didn't know what was going on, I told people, you got his number, right? You should call and ask him. So that took the stress off of me. But really looking inward probably would be the biggest thing, and understanding this one important thing. This is very important, that he didn't have the ability to make me happy. He had the ability to offer happy moments or things like that, but the power to change me and make me happy and do all of this stuff. And he just didn't have it, because if we ask ourselves that question, does he have it? If he had it, he would have fixed it. So we think our husband should have all this power and he should wield it when we need it and come rescue us. If he could do that, he would do it even for just peace in a house, for just peace. So when I quit judging him that way and going, well, he did this, he should fix it, because I didn't know how to fix it, and not assume that he knew how to fix it, was really, really big. And I think that set me free in a lot of ways, looking inward instead of looking at everything that I could not control. Big for me.
What say you?
For me, it would be gain clarity. Like get clarity. Don't just assume. I did a lot of assumption. I made a lot of assumptions. Did a lot of assuming, which was good. With some good assumptions, but it also caused, like I said, the naive part of thinking that this is what is looking like, or this is what it's going to look like faster than what it did. That's the decision you made with all the chips that that is available for you is on the table. So that would be the main thing that I would tell myself back, because I had a vision of what what it would look like for me, for the most part, like oh, I have a sister, and my baby girl will have some sisters, and this is going to be this and that and the other. And even though it never was in my head like, oh, we'll share a house or anything like that, I saw it differently. So but being clear on it, on what his vision was, what it looks like right now, or at that time, and as well as how would we operate when these things go. We talk about that in the marriage vision statement of like what those things look like, or even discussing certain things, personality types, all of that stuff, being able to know these things and these triggers, and like I said, clarity. So for me, clarity, getting clarity on the situation, getting clarity on the ins and outs of how he operates and how he would operate within the marital dynamic, as well as within the family dynamic, would definitely be something that I would tell my past self.
To be quick and to be clear, I would pretty much tell my younger self pretty much what I'm letting men know right now. It's the increased frame. Not necessarily one thing, but it is one acronym, right? So frame for men specifically stands for increasing your fearlessness, reliability, your ambitiousness, if you will, your masculine presence and the ability to deal with discomfort, and of course, being exceptional. Mm-hmm. So you work on all of these different areas, strengthen your weak ones, and continue to increase your strong ones. Yeah. That will take you a lot further, a lot faster. All right, so if you made it this far in the video, you likely want to be here for transformation. Not entertainment. We're not good entertainment to begin with, or maybe a little bit of education. So you might be wondering, okay, how can you gauge where you are? Well, we're gonna let you know. Go to polygamyquiz.com. Take the OPR diagnostic, find out where you are on the spectrum. What areas of frame you really need to strengthen. So go to polygamyquiz.com to do that. But making it to the end of this video also lets us know that you rock with us. All right, that you're serious, or you're more likely serious than you are necessarily curious. So post in the comments below. It may not be easy, but it's worth it. Yes, full sentence. May not be easy, but it's worth it. And with that, we're going to sign out with some GLC, which is...
Make sure you're growing intentionally,
loving fearlessly,
and connecting on a higher level.
Every single day.
Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.